Hey everyone, Andrew here from a Tale of Two IGN's podcast. Yes, you are on the right feed, but no, this is not a normal show. I wanted to let you know right now that what you are about to hear is not suitable for work. It is likely also not appropriate for children. If you are sensitive to racy topics, go ahead and hit that delete button right now. You might not like this episode. But now that you've been warned, please welcome to a special RDH Rant Takeover episode with Heather, Anna, and Liz.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of RDH Rant Takeover. I am your host, Anna, and joining me today are my internet BFFs, Heather and Liz. Guys, say hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
So, before we even get into today's topic, Heather, you went through some craziness these last few days, so we're a little late in recording. So I just want to check in, make sure you're doing okay. I don't know if you want to share anything. You're doing good? Feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It was just for all you ladies out there, it was a hysterectomy and a bladder sling. So I'm starting the year off good. So hopefully I will have no more periods and no more peeing my pants. So
I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
You know, throwing all my vacation time out beginning of the year, but it will be the gift.
It'll be worth it.
Yeah.
As someone who doesn't have a uterus because mine was just such a bitch, like it'll be so worth it. You'll be so happy.
Yeah, mine was not very nice and was definitely hating my body. So they actually had to take out an ovary while they were in there. I was going to leave those, but one of them looked a little gnarly, so they took it out, but she doesn't think it's cancer.
That's good. Good.
Yeah,
good.
so
Yes.
I've had many surgeries before. I think I have told you guys before, like the stage 0 esophageal cancer stuff I went through years ago. So, you know, for me, it's just a little nap, get a little time out from my crazy life, a forced nap. So yeah, I'm doing good. So it's about 4 days out, and just like everyone told me, very little pain. Just
good.
Just tired.
I am jealous though of the bladder sling thing, because literally I pee my pants if I like jump too high. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's where I was.
I think I need one of those.
I think that's something that they should tell you when you have babies. Like you need a whole pelvic floor lesson. Yeah. And lift when you have babies. No one tells you that your bladder gives out on you, and as you get older it gets worse. And
I have a 3 sneeze limit.
Exactly.
3 sneezes. Anything over that, I'm done. It's flowing. I'm peeing my pants.
I learned I was not alone, that there's many people out there, so I didn't have to be so embarrassed about it. But definitely I'm glad hopefully this surgery works and I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Fingers crossed.
So fingers crossed. I finally had the last straw. I had to do something about it.
So that's our topic today, right? We're talking about the last straw.
Yeah.
And what causes people to just up and be like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Right? We've all been there.
Right. Yes.
No job is worth that crazy. You know, the craziness of, you know, just coming home and feeling like, you know, just
crying.
The anxiety. The anxiety, like the stress of it. Just knowing.
And then you bring it home and then you take it out on your kids and your husband. It's just not worth it. So
no, it's not. And some people, their last straw takes a little bit longer than some people.
Yeah.
I've learned, but
yes.
Yeah.
I think as a whole, we are putting up with less and less.
Do you guys have any last straws that, like, you know, something that happened at an office that you were like, you know what? I'm out. Like, and you just like left that day?
That day? No. I had something that happened where I put in my 2 weeks, and then when I came in to give my 2 weeks, they already had my stuff packed. So the feeling was mutual.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. That's an easy one. That's an easy way to resign.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, I told them I was coming by because it was like payday or something. And I said something about not wanting to wait for my check until my next shift, because at that time I was only working 1 day a week. So I said, I'm going to go ahead and come pick it up. And they knew something was up because of that. So what happened, just real quick, was this doctor, my first hygiene job, this doctor had a non-compete clause and he hired a bunch of people. And then as soon as his non-compete clause was done, he hired his old staff. So I was used to doing things the way that I did it with the other dental assistants. And as soon as these new dental assistants started working, they were like a bunch of bitches. And one came in the room when I was treating a patient and said, "Did you leave the apron on the chair in the radiograph room?" And I said, yeah, I did. And she's like, "It's not my job to clean up after you. I'm not your mom." Said this in front of a patient. And
Jesus.
I know. And so after I was done treating the patient, I went to her and I said, "This is like what he told me to do, to take the radiographs, and then the dental assistants that were working here prior would go in and clean up the room." And she's like, "Well, those days are over." Okay. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Wow.
So I left and I cried in a parking lot. Not that parking lot. I drove to a different parking lot so they wouldn't see me cry. But I cried because I was mad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah, no, I got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna like boohoo ball over a job where somebody's treating me like shit. But I cried because I was pissed. Like,
Yeah.
the absolute audacity of them. So I cried and then I drove home and wrote my letter, came back, gave them my letter, and they already had my stuff like packed up.
Oh,
And,
geez. You didn't even
yeah.
do anything wrong. Like that.
I know.
It's like,
The
it's-
writing was on the wall, and my husband told me before, he was
Mhm.
like, "It sounds to me," because I was griping about, he said, it sounds to me like they're trying to push you out, because they had me
Yeah.
at an hour, and then they reduced it all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, they reduced my times to 40 minutes. And I was a
Oh,
new
wow.
grad, like I was a brand new grad, and I was freaking out because I knew it wasn't enough time. It was just a bad situation all around. So anyway, that was my
Blessing in disguise.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it was not a good place. So anyway, that's kind of my last straw story. It's not a big doozy, but
Yeah.
man, she was a bitch. And she did her makeup like Mimi from
Oh,
Carrie.
geez.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So anyway, fuck her.
Yeah.
On the way out, you should have been like, "Bye, Mimi. Bye."
That's so funny.
So what about you, Anna? Oh, Heather, do you have one?
Oh, well, not really. I mean, I guess I didn't walk out that day. I should have, because I walked out like crying so hard that I couldn't breathe.
Oh.
Again, from just being like pissed and feeling like shit. My first job out of hygiene, which is the only one I really ever have to complain about, we had to do reviews yearly, and they gave everybody a piece of paper to fill out about you, and then they
So
took
like
those.
they had other employees review
Yeah.
you? Oh,
Yeah.
geez. I
Yeah,
hate that
so,
shit.
like-
that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So everybody got to fill out a paper on me, and I had like all good reviews, except for one of them said that I needed to look better or dress better or something along those terms. I can't remember the exact words.
You have
but
to do your makeup like Mimi. That's what
yeah,
they meant.
pretty much. Yes. And it was like this lady that was in charge of kind of all of the offices that the doctor owned was doing this review, and she was there maybe a few times a month, if that. And we had scrubs that they provided. Like, I showered every day. I just pulled my hair back. Like, my scrubs were not wrinkled. I wasn't like dressing up to be in a Miss America pageant, but
Right.
I threw on a little bit of makeup. And she just told me that I needed to look better. And I was
Ew,
like,
that's so
"Excuse-"
rude.
Yeah. And I was just like, and it was the other people, that was doing the review on me. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I guess I just don't know what else I could do. I guess you're just telling me that I'm ugly.
This is my face. I'm sorry
Like-
for my face.
I'm sorry, but I mean, I wear what the scrubs I'm supposed to wear. They're clean, they're ironed. I shower, I do my hair, some little makeup, but she's like, "Oh no, girl, like just like you're going to the club."
What?
What?
And that was her exact words.
Are you
and I
serving
looked-
alcohol? Are we going to play some house music? Because then I could bring it.
Yeah, I just looked at her and I was like, "What?" I was like, "I'm 30 some years old with 3 kids. I don't go to the club, first of all. And second of all, this is a dental office, not the club." And I guess I was just, my feelings were hurt because I
Oh,
felt
that
like it was
definitely would hurt
just
my feelings.
like
Yeah,
a low
absolutely.
blow. Like they were
Yeah.
just, they didn't like me, so they were trying to be mean on
Pick
purpose
on you. Yeah.
and pick on me. And she's like, yeah, girl, just do your hair, put some makeup on, like you and your husband's going out for a date night. And I'm
No,
like,
We don't do
absolutely
that anymore.
yeah. And I just remember sitting there at that moment, like I didn't hear anything else she said in the review. And it was like, that's when I realized I was done there, that I was giving myself permission to just be done.
Yeah.
And when I was done, it of course was at the end of the day, and I just walk out. I mean, I sobbed the whole way home. It was a 40-minute drive.
Aw.
And
I hate
I
that
was
they made you
terrible.
feel like that. That makes me want to go cooter punch them.
yeah.
That makes me
Yeah.
so
So I'm
mad.
like, just yeah. So it was very, very shortly after that I left there. That was my
That's-
last straw. Calling me
that's-
ugly.
Did you hand in your resignation all done up and dolled up and accessorized?
No, damn it. I should have.
That
Yeah.
would have been good.
Put eyeliner on it. and
Yeah.
shit.
Spray a bunch of perfume.
That's
Put
so
lipstick
that's
on the bottom.
ridiculous. You
Mhm.
guys have seen, so we're trying to get this TikTok thing kind of, we're trying to broaden our horizons. You guys have seen me and how I look in the TikToks. Like, come on. I just look,
Yeah.
I have like frizzy hair, like strands like coming out of my ponytail. And it's not a glamour. I mean,
It's not a glamorous job. We're freaking
No.
got calculus and blood being spit in our face. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like.
yeah. It's not a glamorous job to be dressing up like we're going to the club. Yeah.
I mean,
That
I
just
guess maybe if we
was
were
floored.
like cute 20 somethings, but and that has nothing to do with how professional or how good your clinical skills are or your bedside manner or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
give me an ugly, frumpy swamp witch, like nurse or hygienist or whatever, who is nice as hell and has, great skills or whatever, over like the pretty bitchy, hygienist any day, the diva. Like, that's
Yeah.
Exactly.
it makes no sense to me whatsoever. So anyway, well, I'm sorry that happened to you. What
That's
about
all right.
what about you, Anna? What happened to you?
Mine's kind of a doozy. I think it's a doozy. I don't know. I always
Who
have like the
hurt- who
craziest
hurt you,
stories.
Anna?
They didn't hurt me, but it was just like a whirlwind of crazy. No, I was at my office for like 7 years. The office got sold, which, as we know, can go one of two ways. It either is fine or it goes to shit.
Yeah.
One of the other, we had like 6 RDHs there, and one of the RDHs absolutely hated me. No reason for it. She just hated me.
Mhm.
So she would just go out of her way to constantly like accuse me of these obscure things that I never did. Things like, I used to run our Facebook page. She'd accuse me of deleting like reviews on the Facebook page that were about her. She accused
Oh.
me of stealing her patients. And every time she did this, I'd get brought into the office, have a sit down with the owner and the office manager. Like, well, I'm not going to say her name, but
Bleep.
Biatch said, Biatch said that you did this or you did that. And I would be like, what? Why would I do that? Like, why would I delete positive reviews on our Facebook page, And I'd have to like
Right.
prove that I didn't, stealing patients. I had to like sit there and be like, I wasn't even here that day. It was like literal torture each time trying to prove like I didn't do anything. And I was successful in doing so because I was able to prove that I didn't. But it got to the point where like it was just toxic and total animosity from her. She was my boss, the new boss.
There we go.
And she was
There's the
best friends with
truth.
the office manager. So it was like double, like now,
Yeah.
now they had this preconceived notion of who they thought I was. So what did it was the final straw for me was basically I refused to quit. I was like, I'm not quitting. I'm not letting her win. She called my phone from her brother's phone but blocked the number. I had an app on my phone at the time that if someone called me from a blocked number, if I put it to voicemail, the number would show up on my phone.
Oh.
So I see this number I don't know. It goes to voicemail, and I listen to the voicemail, and it's someone whispering that I'll kill you and like, yeah, all this crazy shit on my voicemail, right? So I'm like, what the fuck? So I do a reverse search on Google for the number, and it's her brother.
Wow.
So I call my boss right away and I'm like, dude, I don't know what the hell her problem is, but she left me this voicemail. I send him the voicemail and he says to me, oh, I don't want to get involved. I really don't want to get involved. I'm like, what? I flipped out on him. I'm like, you don't want to get involved. I'm like, if the tables were turned and this was me, I'd be in your office tomorrow, Monday morning at 8 a.m. Like, oh, threatening, you threatened another employee, blah, blah, blah. They did nothing about it. I basically sat in the office and was like, I'm not quitting. Fire me right now. Fire me.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, I will not quit. I want you to fire me. So they were like, well, and I'm like, and then finally, like a week later, they found a way to fire me, and best thing that ever happened to me. But it was craziness. And then I never understood why she hated me so much. It was like
I would have went
weirdest
after
thing.
her brother. I would have been like,
Yeah. I mean,
you
know what I did?
Have you ever checked to see if she was in Rant? Have you checked to see if she's in Rant?
She's not. I have her blocked on all. So even if she wanted to be in Rant, she's not allowed.
Good.
Oh, okay.
Good. Wow. What a crazy.
Yeah. Crazy story. Like,
I've been putting a restraining order against her, her brother, her dad.
I
her
did.
Mom.
I did call the cops and got a report just so I had something in writing that this went down in case anything happened from it. And the police were like, well, there's really nothing we can do. And I get it. They put it in, like in a report. They were like, that's all we can do. Just put it on file. Right. And I was like, that's fine. I'm not looking to like press charges, but I just wanted on record that she's like threatening me. Like, what the hell is wrong with her?
Wow. Yeah, that one takes the cake for sure.
Yeah, a little crazy, but my boss just telling me, well, I don't want to get involved. It's like, what do you mean you don't want to get involved?
Because he was her, right?
Yes, they were having an affair.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to get involved.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like, but if, every little thing she says I do, I'm in your office at 8 a.m. on Monday, like trying to vouch for myself and trying to prove to you guys that I'm not like this weirdo. Like,
right.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty toxic.
Super.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of toxic, the first story I have, and I don't know, that I was just like, oh my God, what was the sewage backup?
Ew, yes, I read that.
Okay, yeah. So there was a sewage spill from the office bathroom and it overflowed and went into the posters op. And so it flooded the room and she obviously couldn't work in there. I think some of the assistants stayed and they cleaned the room, but she found out they just like cleaned it up with like Clorox and stuff like that. But it's like laminate floor, so it could like
it leaks underneath.
So like could like seep through, right? And so she called the doctor out about it. She's like, this is not acceptable. Like, I cannot work in this room because it's contaminated, like with fecal matter. It's absolutely disgusting. Oh, a poop story, just like always. Sorry, Heather. It's always a theme.
It always is.
Yeah. So anyway, when she confronted him, I guess he like ripped off his glasses and like charged at her and like had her up against the wall. I don't think he touched her, but basically like charged at her, like, got in her face and was like intimidating and like yelling and screaming. She said his face was like an inch from hers. And I think
what is wrong with people?
I don't know. And she was like, no, screw this. And she said she got her important belongings and ran out of there as quickly as possible.
Good for her.
Yeah. She's like,
people have lost their freaking
not
minds.
for nothing, but like, bleach only does so much. I mean, if it's under the floorboards, you're not getting to where the fecal matter is. Didn't the operatory smell like literal?
That's what I wondered.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what I wondered. But that's what she told him. She's like, you need to tear up this floor and, properly disinfect or sanitize this room. So I was just like, that is freaking.
Just throw the whole office away at that point.
I agree. An accidental like match drop or something. I don't know. So
another story that kind of coincides with my story is someone in Rant had posted that they were at the Christmas party and the front desk girl was whacked out on cocaine and physically attacked her at the Christmas party. and then didn't get fired afterwards.
Yeah, I read that.
It's like, what
Yeah.
the hell? Like, how do you physically attack another coworker and still have your job?
She was
She
whacked
was
out on
probably
cocaine.
boss.
And
She
then
was
and got
yes.
drunk. And so I read that too. And I was, you know, I love our ranters, and some of these stories are just like, wow. But I need them to be storytellers. Like, I need to know this story. I need to know what happened that like triggered the front desk girl to like come at
Yes, I
her.
want to know. Yeah,
I
like,
want to
Yeah.
know the details. Like, I want to know the nitty gritty. Did she fight back? Like, you know, I don't know. I just need to know.
Yeah.
I need to know more. And I think what Heather and one of you guys even said, you know, can you tell us more about this? And she just said, you know, oh, well, you know, they were escorted out by the police and I didn't press charges or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
not good enough. I want more.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
want more. I need the details. I need to paint the picture in my mind. So, but anyway, that's still freaking crazy that she
Yeah.
attacked a coworker. Ugh.
And still had her job. That's
Yeah.
insane to me.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to get to Mama Judy because I know she had the last straw and walked out after 30 some years at her office at lunch and never went back. And I don't know that she ever. I know she's told the story,
she didn't
but
give
I don't.
details. Yeah,
Yeah.
she kind of was very vague about it.
Yeah, she was just ticked off, and I think he was kind of a jerk of a dentist. Obviously, if you're gonna make Mama Judy that mad, that she
Well-
just left on lunch.
She left on, I know why she left. Is because she had worked there for like 25 years. And
Mhm.
she was
Mhm.
67 years old. And I don't know why she stayed so long. And I think, you know, in retrospect, I think she doesn't really know either, because I know that she really had it out for the office manager, who was also the wife, which we all know is a
Never.
red flag.
Uh-huh.
But he told her when she could and couldn't use the restroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes me laugh.
Oh yes,
Could you
yes, that's
imagine?
right. It's coming
Yeah.
back to me. Yes.
She's
Yeah,
like,
no.
you know, wouldn't let her use the restroom. And she's like, I am, you know, 67 years old. No, you're not going to tell me when and why I can and can't use the restroom. I mean, hell, at the beginning of our podcast, we talked about older women and their bladder problems and, you
Yep.
know,
Yeah. Hello.
yeah. So, yeah. So
And I think I
she
said this
quit.
on the Bad Bosses podcast. If I got the shit, I got the shit. I'm a
There's
But
no holding back.
the badass thing about Mama Judy is like, she didn't just quit, like she retired.
Yeah.
She just like walked out and retired.
Yeah.
Good for her, man.
Yeah.
That's my
know.
dream.
That's
That's
fucking-
my
Yeah.
dream.
That's epic. We love you, Mama
Yes.
Judy.
We
You're
do.
you're an inspiration to us all.
And I hope that dentist got instant karma. And I hope he
Yeah.
was stuck in the
I
bathroom.
hope he got
for-
diarrhea.
I was gonna say diarrhea, stuck in the bathroom for 7 months straight.
No, he couldn't hold it in front of his patients. And
Yeah.
just like shit his pants everywhere.
Rude.
Aw.
Aw.
Poor Mama
A lot of
Judy.
these last straw stories had to do with like calling out.
Yeah.
Like one of them was the manager cursed me out for calling in the previous day due to extreme sciatic pain. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had sciatic pain, but
Yes.
that is gnarly, man. It hurts.
I've
I was
heard.
pregnant.
Yep, I had it my entire pregnancy. It is the absolute worst. It's like a pain from the top of your ass all the way down to like your calf. It's awful. So basically, she called out due to sciatic pain. And the next day when she came in, the office manager cursed her out for calling out. And she immediately turned in her key and she got her stuff and walked the fuck out.
Good.
Good job.
Peace.
Good job, Ranter.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't care what line of work you're in. You do
We're
not
entitled to sick
allow
days.
people to talk to you that way, to treat you that way, to make you
Yep.
feel that way. We are
Yep.
all human. And just being that way towards someone just infuriates me. Like, have compassion, give some grace. And if it's something that is habitual, then pull them aside and go the proper channels
Exactly.
to discipline someone.
Exactly.
It is just drives me insane, the people that are management and owners and doctors and even other hygienists that don't know how to have like decent common sense and treat people. just infuriates
It's
me.
ridiculous. It's insane. Some of the stories I read, I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I will never understand how someone can allow them to tolerate another grown person in a work environment, or in any environment really, but in a work environment, to yell at them like a child. Like, to me, it's almost like, eating someone else's food in the refrigerator. I can't.
Yeah.
Which happened to you, I know how.
Yeah,
But I don't.
yes.
I cannot wrap my head around that, like yelling at people in the workplace. That is
Yeah.
something that I cannot fathom. So
Yeah.
No.
I know that it wasn't really a story, but one of the ranters said that, and I think that this is one of the good things about Rant, is there was a tendency for people to feel like alone, like, what, I'm stuck in this job and it really sucks. And she said, joining this group, I saw that I was not the only one that finds hygiene a soul sucking drain. And it gave me the support to finally leave hygiene and not look back. So I think that one of the good things about Rant is kind of the advocacy that we give each other, and,
Yeah.
the courage and sharing and stuff like that. It's like, a lot of these people are finding the courage that they know that they do deserve something better and they shouldn't
Yeah.
tolerate this. And
Absolutely.
and they
It
end
makes
up
you feel
quitting.
isolated. I mean, when
Yeah.
someone's talking to you or treating you like that, and you don't know, you haven't been out there, you haven't worked in other places, it does makes you feel very isolated and like you're the problem.
Yeah. And they know that they
Absolutely.
can come out, they can come back, even if they are like, oh my God, I don't know if I did the right thing. They can come to us and say, this is what happened. And I walked the fuck out. And we are all going to be like, hell yes.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
if we don't agree, we're also going to be like, ooh, girl, you better go back and beg for your job back. Hope you ain't got no babies to feed tonight, because you was in the
walked
wrong.
out because they wanted me to do a prophy in an hour.
I
It's like,
know. I had to empty the trash at the end of my shift.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dare you.
I did read one of those somewhere. It was not Rant though. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I did read one on the Last Straw thread that I was like, wow, but I don't remember what it was, and I don't want to call the ranter out, but I was like, you were wrong.
Yeah. I glanced
I forgot what it
through.
was though.
There was one about the OM threw pens. She threw 3 at me before I walked out.
Threw 3. She threw 1 and I would have been like a dart right back at her eyeball.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm good at darts, lady. I can poke your eyeball out. Like, she was like, it took 3 before I walked out. And I told the dentist, and he just said, well, she's a really good employee.
She's throwing pens at people. How is she a good employee?
Yeah. I don't know. That's all. Like, that's all she
down
said.
To that she's the boss. That's what
Yeah.
it all. Anytime they keep these toxic people around, that's
Pretty
the
much.
reason.
Yeah, pretty much. I was just, I don't know. I think I would have walked out. I would have taken every single pen in her arsenal
oh my gosh.
as I
Take
walked
her
out.
pen cup. Yeah, take her pen cup.
Take her pen, the whole damn thing. It's like, send it back in a Jello mold.
Actually, the throwing of the pens reminds me of another Last Straw of mine.
Yeah.
One of our front desk at my first job at a hygiene school, she used to throw the charts at me. And I'd be like, well, they're not, like they're 20 minutes late. And she'd be like, do what you can. And she'd just throw the chart at me. That was back when we had paper charts. I'm aging myself.
Oh, gosh.
But for that job, the Last Straw, and this is like kind of sad actually, but it was 9/11. I worked there on 9/11. And I lived all the way west. I'm sorry. No, I lived all the way west, but I was moving out east. So my job that I got at hygiene school, I got out east. So I'm in New York and 9/11 is happening that day, and they wouldn't let me leave. They were like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, I don't know where my dad is. My dad works in downtown Manhattan. I don't know where my husband is. He works in Manhattan. I'm like, I don't know where half my freaking family is. And they were like, well, and then I'm like crying. And then she's like, why are you crying? Like, what do you mean? Like this is chaotic. Like, I don't know, like I don't even know how I'm getting home. Like I can't, they closed all the parkways going westbound. So I finally at like 2-3 o'clock, I was like, I am leaving. I am going home. Like, I do not care about cleaning people's teeth today. They closed the last parkway going westbound. I am going home. Yeah. And I'm taking like side roads all the way. It's going to take me like an hour and a half to get home. I don't care. I'm leaving. And the next day I handed in my resignation and said, I cannot work here anymore.
My God. I am gobsmacked. I have no words. I can't
it
even
was
believe
disgusting.
that.
They handled it. And then like I finally get that the other thing, I don't know if you guys had this issue, but here cell phones were not working. Like I would call my husband's cell phone and it would say user busy or whatever it said at the time. I don't even remember, but because everybody was calling everyone on the network and it was like you couldn't get through to anybody. I finally get in touch with my husband and I'm like, do you know what's going on? He's like, no, what's going on? He's like, I saw the whole thing.
Oh my God.
And he's like, I'm packing my shit. I'm leaving the city now, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, they're not letting me leave here. And he's like, what? It was just a total chaotic mess. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, they handled that wrong. I was in Indiana and I would not have had to have asked you, why are you crying?
Yeah. I mean, really, like, hello, like, I don't know where anyone is. Like, I can't get in touch with anyone. It was like insane to me that they thought that it was appropriate for me to like just still stay there.
I have
because getting
words.
Your teeth cleaned is so important on 9/11.
No one's going to come in anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is absolutely.
But
I mean, I don't think anything else that I have tops that. I did want to touch on Montana's story.
Yes, I saw that one.
Because that kind of enacted some changes on how we did things in Rant. She worked for corporate and she was on Facebook under a pseudonym. She wasn't even using her real name. And she didn't use the name of the corporation that she worked for, but she didn't even have it listed on her profile. I mean, she took like all the precautions to stay as anonymous as possible without, being anonymous. So this was like when Rant, probably within the first year, maybe the first 2 years. Yeah. So she ranted, as one does in RDH Rant. And the next day she went into work and her office manager, regional manager, and district manager were all in the office and asked her to come in. And when she walked in, there was a screenshot of her post on Rant. And she was told that she was bashing the company. And she never mentioned the company's name or anything like that. But they wrote her up and I believe that she quit.
Yeah, she did. She gave 2 weeks after that and left.
But that's when like Heather and I don't think you were an admin yet, Anna, but that's when Heather and I were kind of like, what? How do we, first of all, we were like super pissed and we did our sleuthing work. We were able to do our sleuthing work without Anna. She's our detective, but we figured out who it was and we banned that person. And it ended up being the hygiene coach for like that region or something.
It was the director.
Yeah. So she was a
that.
hygienist, so technically she was allowed in the group. But at that point, we decided, I think, that we needed to verify licenses. And so that's one of the things. If you are not a member of Rant, we do verify your license when you try to join. And so that's why it sometimes takes a long time, is because we need to make sure you are who you say you are. And that's why we ask, because we want to make sure that there's nobody who's like trying to get in there to spy. And we do still have people who do that.
Yeah. People's
we
husbands,
have dentists,
people's bosses. Yeah.
my mom.
Oh, you can let your mom in.
Bless her heart. She's just like my number one fan. So she just wanted to be in there just to kind of to see.
She wanted to be in the cool kids club.
Let her in. Let her in.
I'm not letting my mother. You all know it's not happening. I love her to death. I do. She's my best friend, but. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine her being on there. So anyway, with Montana, that was kind of the catalyst for us to say, okay, we really need to make sure that this is a safe space. And so we do everything.
And it's never, unfortunately, it's never a safe space.
No,
because,
no, it's the internet.
Yeah, it's the internet. But we try to make it as safe as possible, I think.
I mean, we have hygiene sisters ratting on other hygiene sisters. And to me, that's unfathomable, but that it still happens.
It happens. But we always figure out who it is and we get to boot them.
Yeah.
Which I like to do.
That's fun.
It's fun
the
sometimes.
Fun part. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No.
No, today I had to accept a member who is a regional hygiene manager for a corporation. I won't say which one, but she's a hygienist. So I had to accept her. But I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, shit. But you know what? I'm a regional hygiene director as well. So like, I'm like, all right, well, I can't really, but I hope none of our hygienists are in here ranting and she's going to take that back to corporate or whatever.
Well, at least you know that, so you can kind of keep an eye on it.
Exactly.
And, you know, I don't know if she's listening. This is your nonchalant warning.
Yeah.
We know who you are. No.
Don't be taking our shit. Bringing it elsewhere.
Don't be that person. You don't screw with people's jobs. Gosh.
No.
Just because you don't like something they're ranting about. I mean,
exactly.
I don't care. They call you ugly and your mom. Don't get them fired.
Yeah, don't mess with people's livelihood.
Yeah, just meet them out back in the alley after work.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Do it the old-fashioned way.
Don't do that either.
No, don't do that.
Get really high on coke and attack him in Vegas. That's
no kidding. That's how you do it on a work
But make
party.
sure you're banging the boss so you don't get fired yourself.
Yes, yeah. Don't leave out that very important key element.
Speaking of Vegas trips, this one really made me mad. There was a dentist that hired an office manager, and the poster, she became really good friends with the office manager. And so they had an office trip to Vegas, and during the review, the boss said, "You guys can't hang out during the trip."
What?
Said that they could not hang out together during the trip.
You guys are too friendly. You're not allowed to hang out. Like, who does that? Like,
I don't know. She quit on the spot. She was like, "Goodbye. You cannot tell me who I can and cannot be friends with." Yeah.
I'm sorry. Maybe it's because I'm tired and I had surgery a few days ago and what?
I don't know. Wouldn't you want your coworker, like your workers, like your team to really get along and mesh well?
Yes, of course.
But still, my mom has been the only person in my life that's ever told me who I can and can't hang out with.
Exactly.
I just cannot wrap my head. You guys can't hang out together on our work trip to Vegas. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. I'm really good friends with my office manager. Like, I'm really good friends with her. And if, the dentist came to me and said, "You guys can't hang out," I don't even know. I would probably quit too.
That's just stupid. That's dumb. Yeah, I even fought my mom when she told me I couldn't hang out with certain people. I'm like, psh. But then guess what? My mom was always right. So
yeah,
they usually are. Mom is always right.
Yeah. So anyway, well, I think
are you running out of the last? Are you running out of steam, Heather?
I am running out of steam.
All right.
Yeah, she's tired.
Yeah,
she's been through a lot this week.
I know. It's been a rough week. So thanks for listening to the RDH Rant Takeover. Be sure to join our Facebook group of over 12,000 hygienists for more content like you hear in our shows. We've had many new members come from the podcast. They listen to us and they find us on our social media, which I think, is lovely. I love that.
That's awesome.
I know. Fantastic. They come in, they're like, "Hey, I found you. And will you let me in faster?" and stuff like that. We'd also love for you to follow us on Instagram and TikTok, where you can see me make a damn fool out of myself because I don't know what I'm doing because I'm a little old lady using TikTok, but I try. So it's time for us to sign off. It's time for you to floss off, love, peace, and brush your teeth. Bye.
Ciao.
See ya.